relish, pleasing or zestful flavor.
A quantity just sufficient to flavor, to be pleased or gratified by, enjoy.
We are hoping that what we bring to your table today might add some spice to your life. Well, Rowan, how's your week?
It's been well, Don. How about yours?
Yeah, good. I'm glad spring is coming.
Yeah, it has been warming up lately.
Seems like it's
nice.
Late, but
Yeah.
I guess it's just been all winter. I guess we've missed spring all winter. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
So glad for it. Hope all of you are glad for it, and this recording finds you well.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of questions left over from when we filmed at Hillcrest Academy, so
cool.
We'll be working through those, the questions submitted by the students there. So
that usually takes a while.
It does.
And they're good questions.
Got a page front and back here. So.
Oh, okay. Just one page front and back and small letters.
Yep, small letter.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't read them. My bifocals don't focus in quite that good. Okay. I am ready, Rowan, I think.
Okay. This first one's more personal. Why did you become a pastor?
Oh man. Yes. Good question. Well, I fought it as long as I could. So when I was back in high school, often I would be dubbed to do the message on Youth Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Youth Sunday. Maybe we ought to start doing that Youth Sunday and having our youth preach the message. But during that time, got a lot of affirmation from the church that maybe I should think about being a pastor. Well, my track was I was going to be an architect. And then after that, when I found out that was too many years of school, I decided, well, I'll teach speech and drama because I'm good at that. And so I had my life path paved out, sort of like juniors and seniors in high school think they do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so I went into college, and 3 years of college training, I all of a sudden really felt inside myself a calling. And I decided to ask Edmund J. Miller, E.J. Miller, my pastor, okay, how do you figure this out? How do you figure out you want to be a preacher or not? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, for him, it was asking God to open or close doors so that he would know what God's will is. And so I went back that evening to my mod at Bethel College and prayed that prayer. And I think I've shared this some other times. It was after that prayer that God changed my language, changed my approach to life.
Yeah.
And on Christmas Eve that year, which was just maybe 3 weeks later, it was as if E.J. Miller was speaking directly to me, even though he wasn't that night. I went back and checked the recording. And no, he wasn't speaking directly to me, but it was a message that through God used E.J. Miller to speak to me, even though he wasn't. And the irony is, when I did make the decision that I was going to at least go to seminary, I decided I was going to tell him the next day. And he died that very next day.
Wow.
And sort of sent me into his tailspin. But what it did was allowed someone to be in my life, Palmer Becker, might as well say who it is because he's well known in the Mennonite circles, was going to church there at the same time, and he could mentor me in my worship leading and scripture reading and preaching. And so even before I went to seminary and committed to seminary, I was given opportunities in the local congregation to exercise those gifts. And there's been several times in my life where, in fact, Charlene's grandfather told me one time, he says, why don't you just give up this preaching business? Because it's way too much trouble. And even in those times, somehow God has kept calling me back into it. Well, and even here in this situation, at my age, I was planning on dialing down, and here I am in full-time ministry again. and even
was more than full time.
Even more than full time, because it's outside of the congregation I'm currently serving as well. And I think when God puts it that hard on your heart, it'd be full disobedience not to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, just outright disobedience. So how did I know? God led me step by step every day of the way, every day, every way. That prayer that I prayed that night in 1977 was the first step of many in following the Lord and being faithful. Good question. Did I answer it?
You did. Yeah.
Sometimes we get on these rabbit trails. We got to make sure that we actually did answer the question that was being asked.
Yeah, that was a
good question.
What are your thoughts on witchcraft and things like that? Do you think they're real, and why are they real?
They are very real. There is a evil at work. We can call it the devil, demonic. It is at work in the world today. I think there's a lot of push to downplay it, but I have found, especially in my involvement with healing prayer and things like that, the subtlety of witchcraft and demonic manifestations can't be missed. Yeah, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I'll flip that and say, and when we are able to get rid of it, it surprises the individual how real it really was.
Yeah.
And how much of their lives it was affecting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's very real. If you are having any trouble with demonic, witchcraft, any of those things that are anti-God, I'd put that in the anti-God movement, because that's Satan.
Yeah.
Get a hold of a pastor. Get a hold of someone who does healing prayer or real prayer, and have them help you out of that, because it is amazing the changes that come when you actually bind and cast out those dark spirits. And I think so often it's misunderstood in Christian circles that you have to have some degree in exorcism to make it happen. And it really isn't that way, because God has put into the individual believer the authority to cast out any spirit. The problem is we have so much fear and doubt that we can't often act on those. So get somebody who's done it before. They'll take care of it. I've even been in situations where we could take care of it without even having the individual in the room that we were praying about. So it's real. It's stuff to be taken care of, and there is no reason a Christian has to live under that.
Yeah. Do you think it's as, I don't know if strong is the right word, or we'll just use strong or powerful. Do you think it's as powerful as like New Testament times when Jesus would encounter demons?
Oh yeah, I think it's at least as powerful as at that time.
Yeah.
The difference is they recognized it.
Yeah.
And so when Jesus would walk up, not only, I'm thinking as at the Gadarene demoniac. So Jesus basically just barely gets off the boat, and the demon recognizes Jesus and sort of recoils and says, "Oh, what are you doing here, Jesus?" And so we don't have that going on. Mm-hmm. Although I do remember walking to a lady's room and beginning prayer with her, and supposedly she couldn't talk. And all of a sudden she did, and it wasn't her talking. It was a man's voice, a deep man's voice. So it's possible that we, because we're following Jesus, can put evil spirits in shock, I guess, that we're all of a sudden there and praying, and so they will manifest. We have authority. We should not doubt or fear. Just take care of business. Neil Anderson's book, I like it. Steps to Freedom is a really good introduction, very simple for people to do. And speaking those prayers, I have found powerful things happening when I've led people through those prayers. So don't fear it, Christians. Satan's out there just as much as in the New Testament. I think the more dangerous thing that's going on here is we don't, I guess we doubt it enough.
Yeah, kind of like
to not understand that it's being manifest in our place.
Yeah.
And so then it actually gets power that it doesn't need because of our that's not really our lack of faith in Jesus. It's our lack of faith that it really impacts us now. That there's really a spiritual dimension to our lives now that's that dynamic. But it is. It is.
Yeah.
I could go in some examples, but just don't doubt. There's more spiritual stuff going on right now than we are giving credit to or that we're dealing with. Yeah. Or that the church is ready to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've talked about this before, so maybe you don't need to go too in depth, but when will the events of Revelation happen?
When the last signs are revealed and we're getting closer. If you've studied the book of Revelation, I often see Revelations maybe telling the story of the end times 7 different directions.
Yeah.
And so I think we're closer than we'd like to admit. The trouble is Jesus himself admitted we aren't going to know the day nor the hour.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know the day nor the hour. And I guess if Jesus didn't have it, maybe we aren't supposed to expect we do. But things will start happening and we'll start noticing. My thing to the Christian today is at least know Scripture well enough that you can see these innuendos as prophecy begins to be fulfilled. Jesus said himself, no one knows the day nor the hour, not even the angels of heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. And that is Matthew chapter 24:36. And it'll be subtle. It won't be announced except by a trumpet. Boy, guys, you hear the trumpet call, you know it's happening. And that is in verse 31 of 24. Interestingly enough, that's the same words used by Paul in 1 Corinthians 15. So I don't think we should doubt the trumpet.
Yeah.
We're going to hear the trumpet, guys. It's going to be, it's going to signal those days. Just be ready. And I would nudge, maybe after my sermon this morning, I would nudge us to think about the fact that when that day comes, it's too late to do evangelism. It's too late to talk about Jesus with your friends and neighbors and loved ones. Do it now. Do it now. Don't wait till then. Because we could lose a whole generation very quickly because we're not sharing our faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said. Couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah.
Good.
What does being made in the image of God really mean? Is it the fact that we have a soul?
That, yes. It's the fact that we have a soul and it's not, it does not dissipate with our body. The soul is eternal. It's the eternal part of who we are. I think we all believe we have personalities that will live on, but it's the fact that we will have a soul that lives on. And I'm not, I just have this nudge. I'm not sure we're taking care of our soul as well as we're taking care of our body. And that part will live on forever. It's an important part of who we are. That reflects God probably as much as anything does. I mean, we're capable of design and creation and free thought. That's God too. I mean, he definitely created and designed all of nature uniquely. He has that freedom, that ability. And we have the ability to create, not quite as big as he does. That reflects God. Yeah, that reflects God. The fact that we care for one another, that reflects God. Our compassion, our empathy, that reflects God. For God so loved, agape, the world that he gave his only son, that shows God's heart. So we reflect that part of God as well. The soul, I agree, that is probably the basis of all those. But there's things that we can trace out otherwise that would reflect God as well. So being created in the image of God is basically saying there's a shadow, if you will, of who God is in us, and how we interact and how we think about others and how we embrace life.
Yeah.
Life as a gift that he gave. Now, did I get that question at all?
I think you did.
If we didn't get your question answered, you have all the authority to call us on and get a hold of Rowan and say, nah, Don missed that one altogether. You better send that back.
He'll be happy to answer it again.
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer it again. That's for sure. And especially if there's some specific part you wanted to be addressed.
Yeah. Or if we took it the wrong way or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Thank you for your time again, Don, answering all those questions.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. And thank you guys at Hillcrest. It was really good to be with you again. And hey, not only Hillcrest can send questions, anybody can send questions. There's people, there's a link down at the bottom. Just send them in, and Alex will get it to Rowan, and Rowan will get it to me, and we'll just have a lot of fun looking at them.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time.
Enjoy your questions too. So, yeah.
We'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast. Feel free to become part of this ministry by sharing it with others. Our goal is to help each other grow deeper in our understanding of who God is and His calling to us in our daily lives. Thank you again for joining us, and may God bless your day.